is the Bears versus Saints. And man, can the Chicago Bears keep up with the Saints? Mitchell Trubisky has been on a tear recently. He's playing better, but it's been against bad teams. The Jaguars, I'm pretty sure the Texans were one of those teams. So it hasn't been against great teams. And then against the Packers,
I can't believe he snuck in.
He didn't play so well. For me, the Saints beat the Bears earlier in the season, 26-23 in overtime. Nick Foles started that game. Based on how Mitchell Trubisky's playing now, do you think he's going to play better than Nick Foles that game? He possibly can. But for me, the Bears defense have to have an all-time performance. Yeah. And Mitchell Trubisky has to be not Mitchell Trubisky for them to win this game. And I don't see that happening. I think the Saints are way too dominant. Realistically, if this was last year, the Saints would have had the bye and the Bears wouldn't even be in the playoffs. The Bears had to win that last game against the Packers to make it, but they only did make it because the Cardinals lost. That's why they got in. They're 8-8. They just made it to 500. I don't have much confidence in the Bears at all.
And I don't have much confidence, not in the Bears defense. I think we can all agree the Bears have one of the best defensive units in the last 4 seasons. I just think that offense, because the Saints aren't showboats on defense either. They're one of the best defenses in the NFC too. So I just don't think offensively the Bears are going to be able to keep up. And I was reading up, there's all hands on deck for the Saints. Everybody's going to be playing offense. Michael Thomas, Emmanuel Sanders, Alvin Kamara. So they're going to have. I don't think they had Michael Thomas the first time they played.
No.
They did.
Jared Cook is going to play too.
Yeah, so they're going to have all their – I think Drew Brees is back too. So they're going to have all hands on deck. So it's going to be really tough. The Bears didn't see all this the first time they played. So now you're seeing Michael Thomas out there. You're seeing Alvin Kamara out there. You're seeing Drew Brees. Everybody's back. Jared Cook, Emmanuel Sanders. So this is going to be tough for the Bears. But even if they do get stops, can they score? And we've seen Mitch Trubisky. He's not that good sometimes. He shows he can lose games. But they have Allen Robinson out there, so hopefully they can make some magic, see how it goes. But like I said, Saints offensive defense, they're one of the teams in the NFC that can do both at an elite level. So I have the Saints winning in a blowout.
Yeah, I think the Bears are the worst team in the playoffs, and I don't think it's very close. I don't even know any team that would contest them for the worst team in the playoffs. It's not that they're a bad team, they're like an average to above average team on their best day, but playing against the Saints, who, like you said, in any normal year would be a bye team, I don't even think it's going to be close. I don't give them any chance. Like you said, it would take an all-time performance out of their defense. They would probably need a defensive touchdown. And Mitch Trubisky has played well over the past few weeks, but I really have not been impressed. It hasn't been against good teams, and the throws that he's been making have been pretty easy throws against a defense like the Saints that they're top 5 in almost any metric you want to use. I could have listed them, but we'd be here for a whole nother 10-minute segment if I took the time to list them all. That defense is a great unit. Their whole offense is coming back. And seeing Drew Brees, he struggled when he came back in that game against the Chiefs. But as he got into the rhythm of things in the second half, he started to pick things up and look like the Drew Brees that we know and love. This is his last go-around. I've read that, it's not confirmed, but I've read he's planning on retiring after the season. He signed a big contract with
NBC?
Yeah, with NBC, I'm pretty sure.
Broadcaster.
And he's probably going to end up replacing Chris Collinsworth next season on the broadcast. So he's putting everything into this. This is his final run, the last dance, getting Michael Thomas back. We can all say that offense is different when Michael Thomas is out there.
Yeah, of course.
A lot of people have forgotten about him this season, but he is as much of a difference maker as they come. They target him a lot, and he opens up so many different options on that offense. So as good as the Bears defense is, I just don't think they'll be able to hang with that Saints offense.
The Saints are 4th in yards allowed per game, fifth in points allowed per game. The Bears are 11th in yards allowed per game and 14th in points allowed per game. And offensively, the Saints are 5th in points and the Bears are 22nd in points. But I have to say this. Last year, we were saying the same exact thing about the Saints dominating the Vikings, and the Vikings shocked the world. I think the Bears and them are two different teams because the Vikings have a competent quarterback in Kirk Cousins. If the Bears do win this game, I'd be very surprised. But I do hope that the Saints win this game and also not only win, but make a deep playoff run.
Yeah.
Because I think that the past few years, they've been really unlucky in the playoffs. I mean, you mean the Rams debacle, you got the Minnesota Miracle, then last year I think they just underperformed that game against the Vikings. You have to give the Vikings credit.
I think they underestimated them.
Yeah, so, for me, I think Drew Brees needs that one last Super Bowl run for this generation to remember him. Because me, I remember Drew Brees at his peak.
Yeah.
2010, I remember that year. I remember him winning the Super Bowl. I'm pretty sure 2009 or 2010. It was one of those years. It was one of those
against
years.
the Colts.
Yeah.
I know it was against the Colts. So I remember him. My decade remembers him. For the younger audience, this is how they can remember him as an all-time great quarterback, because right now all they know him as is a guy who chokes in the playoffs.
Sound like an old head, the younger
Yeah,
audience.
no, but he really does deserve a deep run in this playoffs, because I think he's one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time, and it will be a shame for him to go down in history as, what have you done for me lately, being a choke artist in the playoffs.
And
I think that would be disrespectful to his legacy.
think this team over the last 2-3 years have shown that this team is kind of giving me the Clippers vibe in a sense, with Chris Paul, Blake Griffin, DeAndre Jordan, all that talent in the world, and you guys come up short in the playoffs too many times. So I think this team definitely, if this is gonna be the last dance, I have them going to the Super Bowl, and I picked them. You guys have heard me all year. I've jumped on him about it. I got the Saints going to the Super Bowl, and I think this is gonna be the last year where Drew Brees puts it all together. And I'm not saying they're gonna win it, but I definitely think he gets them to it.
I think the Saints are in that top tier. I have a 5-team tier of teams that I really consider Super Bowl contenders, like legit. It's the Bills, the Chiefs, the Packers, the Saints, and the Buccaneers. That's my 5 teams that I think are like on the inside edge of Super Bowl contending right now.